The United States voting machines, they're totally secure. There's no way they could be hacked or corrupted. I mean, the DOJ, the FBI, CISA, and the CIA have all assured us, the American people, that everything was secure. In fact, the most secure election in the history of planet Earth. I highly doubt it. This is some very important video that I'm going to bring you through from the Georgia legislative hearings on the discrepancies that we have seen in those Dominion voting machines. In particular, you're going to see here Georgia Senator Sally Harrell and the historical evidence she's going to bring up.
I want to go back to the issue of hacking. Isn't it true that the voting servers at KSU were hacked?
That is true.
When the senator is bringing up KSU, she's talking about Kennesaw State University in Georgia, and she's talking about the 2016 presidential election and the fact that 2 different servers were completely erased. This is a historical fact. Here is an article written in 2017 about that 2016 presidential election, and scrolling down, we can read this. Public scrutiny of Georgia's voting system has increased in recent weeks after the Associated Press reported a central election server was erased. A month later, another server was erased. It all happened at the Center for Election Systems at Kennesaw State University. The center contracted with the Secretary of State's office to handle the technical aspects of the election. There is no evidence that election results were affected by any of the erasers, and the security of the state's office has said repeatedly the current system is secure. This sounds like something we've heard already before. But cybersecurity experts say the incidents expose serious vulnerabilities in Georgia's election systems. So we can see even 4 years ago, during the last presidential election, there's already evidence documented of servers being erased and numbers being changed.
And isn't it true that there's no way to know if the DRE machines have been hacked?
That's exactly right.
When she's talking about DRE machines, she's talking about the direct recording electronic voting machines, or e-voting. In some states, when you vote, you have a paper ballot and you slip it right through the machine. In many other states, it's just an e-vote. It's very hard to track if these things have been hacked or numbers have been changed because there is no paper trail.
True that there was an anomaly in the 2018 lieutenant governor's race in which undervotes were recorded on the DREs, but not the absentee ballots, which are hand-marked paper ballots.
That is true.
And that the
Senator Sally Harrell here is giving another example of historical evidence of the DRE, or direct recording electronic voting machines, having problems and being tampered with. This was the lieutenant governor's race in 2018, in which there was an undercount on the DRE machines that was later found to be there through the ballot counting. Once again, this is a historical fact. Here's an article from Politico written in 2019. Scrolling down, you can see here, the puzzling numbers call new attention to Georgia's paperless touchscreen voting machines, which drew lawsuits in 2017 from election integrity groups that say the machines are not secure and want the state to switch to paper ballots that can be audited. The lawsuit cited the abnormal undervote numbers as well as complaints from 3 voters who signed affidavits saying the lieutenant governor's race either didn't show up on their on-screen ballots or displayed oddly on their touchscreen voting machines. These are 3 signed affidavits. For the current 2020 presidential election results, we have 5,000 signed affidavits and similar stories to what we saw in 2018 and 2016, in which it has already been proven that numbers have been changed, an undercount was proven, and erasers have been proven as well.
The chances of this happening by chance are near zero?
That's exactly right. And you raise another really important point, that we don't have any idea if these machines were ever hacked because there is no paper trail, and we also can't look at the source code. The same problem exists with these machines. It's a private for-profit industry, a point I believe that the senator from the 40th astutely made, which means that we are dedicating our public trust for our most sacred and foundational right to companies that will not let us test their machines for vulnerabilities.
Let's take a look at that final and very important point she's making, and no matter where you stand, whether you're conservative or liberal, you should be able to agree with this. What is one of the most important and sacred rights that we have as United States citizens? You learn this all throughout your grade school years. It's the fact that here in the U.S., we vote. We vote for our leaders because we have a representative democracy. And if that is one of our most sacred rights here in the United States, shouldn't it be protected? Instead of having a for-profit company company without being able to check into their servers or look at the source code or have a paper trail of what's going on. With historical evidence of these direct recording electronic machines already being hacked, we have the information, we have the data. Look it up. You could Google it yourself. In 2016, they were hacked at Kennesaw State University. We know that they've been hacked in other countries. That's just a straight out fact. We also know in Georgia during the lieutenant governor's race, those numbers were not correct. The ballots were correct and those numbers on the machines were underreported. It's already happened. We cannot check the sources. We cannot check the servers. We do not have a paper trail. And this is one of our most sacred rights in the United States of America. And no matter where you fall, on what side of the aisle, you should agree. At the end of the day, we need to know that our election results are completely secure and that the correct result must be upheld. And therefore, we should be able to look at the source code and the server information. And in fact, going forward in the future, we need to do this a different way. We hear so often the government wants to take control of healthcare. How about the government taking control of this? Now, I don't trust the government, but I would be okay if the government would institute a system that we are set up to audit and have complete transparency over the votes that are being counted by these machines. And no longer should we ever see charts and results that look like two people are going up and then one spikes and counts are then stopped and all of a sudden ballots are just shoved in. This is not okay, and it's going to lead more than half of the United States of America to no longer trust the election results that are going to occur. And for a country that's foundation is built on the security of their elections through a democratic representative government, that is disastrous.